Saturday, thousands of Americans headed to D.C. in support of President Trump. This peaceful sea of flags made them an easy target for thugs who attacked the nonviolent, even chucking fireworks at restaurant diners.
Fireworks, 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 fireworks!
After most law-abiding marchers left the rally, thugs descended on stragglers. An elderly couple was attacked. Children were terrified. People beaten. Their belongings ripped from them. Among the attackers, a child sex offender and a journalism student. Well, at least the left's tent is a big one. These videos ended up only on Twitter. The media ignored them, saying they left out context. So what's the context that justifies beating up innocent people? That they disagreed with the thugs who the media defend? Remember, Trump is Hitler, so violence is accepted. The AP's report suggests Trump supporters were the perps because, you know, they support Trump. In 2016, after Trump won, thousands hit the street in protest, and they never really left. Did anyone harass them? Of course not. We don't do that. The media glorified those marches, claiming that aside from the riots, they were mostly nonviolent. Now they're lying again because they think you deserve it. But if maiming Trump supporters is how they react after they believe they won, what if they thought they lost? That's easy. Cities would have burned, people would have died, hence the boarded up buildings. The fact that the media ignores all of this reveals their complicity, while blacklisting people like you and me. But denying what is obvious is the game, which is why the media sticks their collective heads in the sand. That leaves their butts in the air and on camera. So, Dagan, I think we've learned is that not all victims are created equal. You can hit a Trump supporter.
Oh, yeah, and it's the dehumanization and the demonization of Trump supporters and even conservatives. And I don't think this happened over 4 years. This has been happening in university classrooms. This has been happening by the media. So when somebody on the left, Antifa, whatever you want to call them, sees a Trump supporter, they don't see a mom or a dad or a son or a daughter. They just see the enemy. They see the racist, the bigot, the Nazi. And their means justify, the end justifies the means that they're pushing, and it's violence. And I don't know how you reverse that. It needs to be a collective push by everybody who wears a microphone, by everybody in the educational system to basically, I don't know, unity.
Yeah.
That's the word of the day.
Healing. So, Juan, by definition, shouldn't punching somebody over a political belief be seen as a hate crime? Isn't that a hate crime?
Yeah, I don't think you should do that. I condemn violence of all kinds coming from all directions. But I think taking snippets, and I think this is the problem here, is you take a snippet of an incident and you don't explain to people what happened before or after. That's what they mean by context. And if somebody is provoking somebody or somebody hits somebody and then you have a snippet of video and you say, oh, well, look, that person, well, that's totally misrepresented. That doesn't tell you the truth. And I think that's why a lot of papers and TV stations say we don't have the whole story, or in the case of AP that you mentioned, AP said these people had in fact been provoked. So you got to check out, I think, what happened in order to have a clear sense, non-biased sense of what happened. But I do think that you have people on both sides who were being provocateurs in that situation.
Those families,
the Proud Boys were out there screaming at people.
That elderly couple. The people sitting at the restaurant, they're eating that breast of chicken in a provocative way.
No, I can't imagine being at a restaurant, eating outside, as you're supposed to do, because indoor dining is not as safe.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, firecrackers going off. I don't think I'd ever recover.
Well, you don't like noise anyway.
I'm terrified of noise. Yeah, I don't like noise.
What's the solution here, Dana?
To noise?
No, in general, life. I see you're dressed in white. I see you as an expert.
Oh, yes, thank you very much. You know, part of it is I think that, relatively speaking, there was a lot of peaceful marching that went on. The Trump folks that got down there for the MAGA March, that was actually mostly peaceful.
Yes.
That you had the violence, and we do amplify it, right? Because you play it and you see it on social media, but it is happening. And I think one of the things that everybody has to do, and the holiday season might be a good time to do that, especially if we have to be at home because of the coronavirus, is you have to think about what kind of example do you want to lead? And be the example that you want to be for your community and for your family first. Like, start there rather than nationalizing every issue.
But it's like you're talking a language that these thugs don't understand. They'll just laugh at you.
Well, that's the other thing I would actually say. I was going to recommend John Podhoretz over at Commentary Magazine has a piece that just posted on commentarymagazine.com in which he talks about how Biden and Harris really need to step up here.
Yeah.
And to say something. Obviously, going to say that Trump does too. I get that. But that Biden didn't say anything until today when he was asked. He could have said something Saturday night. That would have maybe helped.
Jesse, last word to you.
I just found it funny that Juan says the media needs context and that the clip might not show the whole story. When has that ever stopped the media?
Yeah.
Remember the Covington boys? They went right out with that one, Juan. I think if you're going to fight like a man.
Yes.
Square up with someone your own age that also wants to throw and go.
Yeah.
But when I look at these clips, and these are not 30-second clips. These are 2-minute, 3-minute, 4-minute clips. So, and I'm seeing people get sucker punched from behind.
Right.
You see women, the elderly getting attacked.
Punched behind
They're coming in with street weapons.
A journalism student, female, punched a woman, an elderly woman, in the back of the head. I don't know what context would require to make that okay.
And the elderly woman isn't charging people and biting them and kicking them. She doesn't want any trouble.
Yes.
And it's what you said, and what you said in the monologue is if you spend 4 years telling people that Trump and his supporters are fascists and Nazis and white supremacists, that just gives this mob a license to just light these people up. This is like World War II for them again.
Yeah.
They feel good about what they're doing. They feel like they're cleaning up the streets. And if nothing ever happens, there's no penalties, then that's fine. If you say a MAGA hat is an equatable thing to a swastika, doesn't matter if an old woman or an old man or a woman is wearing the MAGA hat. They're dead meat.
Yeah.
And that's what you're seeing happen.